going on YouTube? We have another Kevin Samuels video for you guys today. Without further ado, you guys, this is Kevin basically breaking down what most guys and girls don't like to speak on. With that being said, you guys, just go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all.
And there's no heat, no judgment for me. I'm asking the question. How does a whole face help you become a housewife? How does any of the things that modern women sit around championing help you become the wife you say you want to become? You want to be a boss, power, entrepreneur, All right, cool. What counts more, that or the outcome of family and children? You can't have it all. You got to choose. Do the things you want, do the things women sit around championing, are they helping you with the outcome you say you want? Because I will be honest. I will tell you, my personal standpoint is I don't ask women about their body counts because I don't believe a woman's going to be honest anyway. I feel like I'm a good enough judge of character at this point, and I vet people close enough because I'm careful with myself. So I'm like, all right, ultimately, how is it helping you? Because why is this important? We have had to hear Will and Jada's, all their sexual dysfunction or whatever in the last couple of weeks. Why is this such a big deal? Why are modern women, so sexually unsatisfied in their relationships? You can make an argument you've had too many experiences. But what I want to hear is the women who think this 304 phase thing is no problem, think that women it's fine for women to do what they want, how they want, where they want, when they want, and that it's getting them the outcomes you want. That's really a conversation we need to have, because it's one thing to be able to say, my body, my choice. I should be free to do what I want without shame, guilt, All right, cool. But how does that work in the real world? Does it work in the real world? Can you go from whole face to housewife? Gentlemen, let me ask you guys in the comment section. Gentlemen, let's do this real quick. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you guys this in the comment section. Let me go ahead and do this. Boom. I'm going to shut that down real quick. Gentlemen, if a woman has told you she's had, first off, gentlemen, I cut the chat room off because I wanted to start from here. Gentlemen, I only want you guys to type two things. How many partners is too many for you to consider a woman for marriage? That's number one. So I want you to write that number when I open the chat room. How many partners is too many for you to consider her for marriage? That's number one. Number two. How many partners is too many for you to even consider for casual dating? See, those are two different numbers. There's one number for a woman you'll have sex with, and then there's another for a woman you will consider for marriage. Gentlemen, when the chat room opens, the first number is the maximum number, the top end that X's her out of marriage consideration. And then the next number is the number that X's her out of even dating. Meaning, let's say the first number is 5. And then you put a hashtag, you put a hash mark, 5, and then over here it's 20. So that means 5 is too much for marriage, 20 is too much for dating. Guys only. What over what? 1/ready. Let's go. What's too much? Refresh your screen. Boom. So you guys aren't doing what the French toaster asked you to do. Somebody, you did it backwards. You did it 10 and 7. What the hell? 7 and 50. 50 and 100. 10 and 10. 3 and 10. Jared Davis, you might as well buy a dog and die alone, sir. Eric Galashaw, 4 and 6. Buy a dog, die alone. Bola Bola, 2 and 4. Buy a dog, die alone. Somebody said 6 and 10 for wifey. Buy a dog and die alone. 4 for wifey. God damn it. Now, I spent all that time, and some of y'all act like y'all were on a short bus. I asked you to one number and another number. But this is, y'all talk about the women, y'all don't even follow instructions. 1 and 1, Corey G. Welcome to your hand for the welcome to singlehood. Buy a dog, die alone. Some of you guys, some of these numbers are ridiculously low. And if these are real numbers, either you're an incel, you must be an incel. If you're talking about 3 and 5, you aren't getting laid. You're not sexually active. And see, ladies, I'm showing, so I want you to look at the numbers and I want you to see the men in the chat room who are really sexually active like you think most men are. Because the numbers that really make sense with your body count and your friends will start lining up with the other one. But these folks writing these single digit numbers are part of the men who aren't sexually active. I'm an equal opportunity offender. You guys are delusional. If you think a woman 3 and 5 or 1 and 3, no. Tarek Blank says 5 and I don't give a fuck. Well, 5 and so that means any amount to have sex with, but more than 5 you won't marry her. That's a guy who doesn't want to get married. Because unless you're dealing with a woman under age 21, it's going to be a high likelihood that she's had more than 5 partners. See, what I need everybody to understand is the difference between how men think about this subject and how women think about this. Men think about sex and women in very puritanical, Madonna whore kind of things. And they are sexless men, or men who are not in the select or not in the sexually desired, the guys who can't just go out there and make it happen. They can tend to be just as delusional as Big Shirley. I mean, it's what do you have to base it on? So understand something, ladies. When you ladies are talking about, oh, hot girl summer, and there's a video floating around here on YouTube where one girl is giving her friend a cake. I want to say her friend is 23 or 24 years old, and the cake has 40 candles on it because she had just crossed 40 Johnsons. Gentlemen, I got bad news for you. If you plan on dealing with a woman in the West, you're going to likely be dealing with a woman who's had more partners than you if you're under 35. What am I saying? That unless you are in the top 20, the top 20, actually the top 10% of earners, and you can effectively import women, This whole notion of dating out and going to other countries, that's fantasy. What I'm ultimately saying is, guys, you'll never know a woman's body count, but if your threshold for women is damn near virgin, then you better get a woman who is a freshman or sophomore in college. I don't know what to tell you. Some of these numbers are, I mean, and this is, and even at my age, those numbers are ridiculous. If a woman lost her virginity at 16 and she had a new boyfriend every 2 years, 16 to 18, 18 to 20, 22, 24, 26, 5 partners in 10 years, 28, 30. She can have 7 partners and I want you to understand, as somebody as guys, and for the guys who actually get it in out there and you know what it is, you're looking at some of these numbers and like, boy, please, this is a weekend. Gentlemen, I know a lot of you guys are on this body count, puritanical kind of thing, and I understand the sentiment. But I've said it 3 years ago, and I'm going to say it again. I wish we had a thing where we could actually send guys to school so you guys could actually go learn about sex, learn how to be better in the bed and all this kind of stuff. Because most guys' issue with this is you don't want to be compared to a better lover. Natural impulse. Number one. Number two, you talk about a woman's ability to pair bond and all these other kind of things. That can be impacted. Sure, I'm not going to dispute that. The science is out, but really it's a matter of where are you going to rank with her. And right, wrong, or indifferent, you need to know that the average modern woman is not as concerned about body count as a lot of you guys are. What does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, we can sit on YouTube and pound your chest and talk about this and that chat room and that, but you're not going to change that reality. That's number one. Number two, ladies, a lot of these guys do also have a point. If you're just out here hooking up with dudes because you just want to have a sexual good time, all right. But it's having, if you don't think it has an effect on how you pick men, I know plenty of women who have turned down suitable relationships with quality men because they wanted better sex. I want to say that the matchmaker April Mason said she quit because one of the biggest things is she said, I could bring you a pilot or this or that or blah, blah. And I think she said, correct me if I'm wrong, that most women who are coming to me are looking for a better dick, something like that. Y'all ain't looking for a man. Y'all are looking for a better dick, better sex, something like that, right? Was that in line with what she said? Why are they listening to me? Because your mama does. Thank you for paying your money. Thank you for paying your money to get blocked. Thank you for paying your money to get blocked. I think it's stupid to pay some money to get blocked. But there are no refunds, so enjoy. Dumbass. Look, the majority of men know that women are getting in. You ask what should be. See, and there's the difference. Should be is a moral judgment. So let's talk about it. Should be is a moral judgment. This is why I love Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neill used to come at the relationships from a human animal standpoint. And that way it lines up a lot with who we are in our primitive hindbrain. It ain't a matter of what should be. It's a matter of you get what you negotiate. And if you want to have, look, dude, in the animal kingdom, there is no should or should not be. It's kill or be killed. And the only way you get to make rules for what women should or should not be doing that they're going to deal with is you must become a man of value that they look at. I'm still on your side. I just want you guys to understand this body count thing. Women believe they should be able to do what they want to. Men believe they should be doing something different. Who's right? I don't know. My personal standpoint, I've always said this to men. Don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answers to. Don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answer to, and stop worrying about stuff that you can't control. But if you feel like you want to be able to control that thing, I don't know how you're going to control it. I really don't. How can should be a moral? Let me go ahead and put you right there. See, I need you also to understand something. Guys, you guys are gonna have to understand something real quick. You can be right on an argument and still be wrong and lose in life. A lot of you guys concern yourself over what it should be this, should be that. Who cares? This is why it is so important that you actually get some power in life. Because you can have your point of view. I have my point of view. You can have your opinion. I can have my opinion. But if you don't have influence with the very kind of women you're talking about to move the needle, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be frustrated. I can't marry a lifetime 304. Let's talk about it. I'm going to open it up because I'm going to open it up to hear women talk about this body count, number one. But I'm also might open it up for guys if we cross the mark, because I know that there are a lot of men out here who got a lot to say on this subject. But you need to know something, guys. That just like you can't put up with no lifetime 304 and there's a certain woman that you can't put up with, women also got men that they just don't listen to. Are you in the group of men that Are you in the group of men that women actually are willing to adjust their behavior for? If not, no different than you talking about lifetime 304s. So what's more important? This is why the whole notion of getting your shit together for you so you can have some options so you can be able to do what it is you want to do. See, before you can make rules, you got to make bread, have influence, have some power, have some gravitas. You cannot, the golden rule, he who has gold rules. Thank you very much. If she has porn star, hot dog in the highway, yeah. Ooh, I know. I knew this subject was going to trigger a lot of men and women, because many men are saying stuff that, well, let's get to it. Again, how are you going to enforce any of the things you're talking about? We don't live in a world that promotes relationship, and we don't live in a world that is asking for people to get married young so they're virgins. And this is something you guys are going to have to figure out. And you ladies need to understand something.
Recording in progress.
Whether the guys can do anything about it or not, it doesn't change how men feel about this subject. And men have some very strong feelings about this. What are you ladies going to do about it? Because if you think you can be out here as a woman and think you can live a footloose, fancy free, I'm going to do what I do, and then think a guy is going to just settle you down and make you a housewife, you might be unpleasantly surprised. That don't happen. Well, the women that happens for are the women in the rare category. So yeah, I knew this conversation was going to trigger. I knew this was going to trigger both sides. Ladies only. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Ladies, can you go from a whole face to a housewife? Is there a cooling off period? What needs to happen? Is there a cooling off period? How long? Do you need to go through a rejuvenation or something? What needs to happen? To get on, you got to get on camera with me though. If you want to speak to me, you have to be on camera. You don't have to be on YouTube, but you got to be on camera.
All right, you guys, that is the end of the first video I'm gonna have for you guys today. That's just him breaking down the situations we have in modern society between male and female, body counts and some more shit. But now he's gonna get into the actual show and have some call-ins from both sides of male and female. So I'm gonna have that in the next video that I decided to upload today. This is just the beginning video of him breaking down what he's going to necessarily talk about or talk with to other clients that calls into his show. With all that being said, you guys, I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe for more. I'm out, y'all.